Dragon King? Jacob was shocked and looked at Elder Liam suspiciously. You still have a class this afternoon, right? Why don't you head back? Elder Liam stood up and waved at Jacob. Jacob stood up, not fully able to process how Elder Liam knew his schedule. He drifted out of Dracon's office and rode the elevator alone. Standing in the elevator, watching the descending number of floors on the screen, Jacob felt like he was dreaming. He hailed a cab and sulked in the back seat. It wasn't until the familiar roads and streets near the university came into view that Jacob finally felt like he was back to reality. He took out his phone and called Sam. Where are you guys? We're in the large art studio, in the left wing of the old building. Are you okay? We're pretty worried. Sam said. I'm fine. I'm on my way back. I'll see you in a bit. Jacob hung up the phone. The first thing he wanted to do right now was to find his friends. Jacob wanted some grounding. He felt like his whole life had changed. Jacob sprinted up the staircase to the art studio and slipped in through the back door. What happened? Tell us everything. Sam and the others rushed toward Jacob with concern and curiosity. Jacob sighed. I don't want to talk about it. Jacob waved his hand and sat down. Cathy, the class president, who usually sat in the front, saw that Jacob had come back. She turned around to look at him. Seems like Cathy has started taking a lot of interest in you lately. Nick nudged him. Jacob wasn't in the mood despite seeing that Cathy was straining herself to look at him. He tried to remain calm and asked, Hey, what's the name of our principal? Thomas Jones? Did you not know that? Said Sam. What about the vice principal? Jacob asked again. The managing vice principal's name is Liam Davis. He's a very important man. It seemed like Sam was in a mood to show off his knowledge about who's who of the campus, and for once, Jacob was grateful. Sam went on. The managing vice principal is the most powerful person in the school, even though he's underneath the principal in title. But everyone knows that he calls the shots. Jacob sighed. Why are you asking about him? The black car earlier, was that related to the vice principal? Sam asked Jacob. No, it's nothing. Jacob touched the pocket in which he had kept Elder Liam's business card. I was just curious. Jacob, stand up and answer the question. The teacher saw Jacob talking to others. She also knew that Jacob wasn't in the class before and realized he must have sneaked in. She looked angry. Poor Jacob. He wasn't there for half of the lecture. How could he answer any questions? He was scolded by the teacher quite badly. Cathy turned her head and looked at Jacob with pity in her eyes. After the lecture was over, Jacob, Sam, and the others returned to the dorm. Their other friends visited shortly after the class and asked about the fancy car pickup incident. Jacob lied that his mother's elder brother was visiting from Singapore and came to campus to surprise him. He simply picked him up for a meal, and that was that. Jacob covered it up and didn't go into an elaborate story. He was hoping to avoid follow-up questions. Later that night, Sam looked at Jacob quizzically. You haven't been yourself lately. Did you get rejected by a girl? Nah, I've been busy lately. Jacob wasn't paying much attention to Sam. Instead, He looked at his phone. He had a new text message. It was from Cathy. Jacob was surprised. He was about to reply when his phone began to ring. Cathy's name popped up on the caller ID.
"What happened this morning?"
She asked as soon as Jacob picked up the phone. She didn't even say hello.
"Oh, that. Well, one of my relatives, my uncle, actually returned from overseas and treated me to a meal. He loves to surprise people. That's why I didn't know about it in advance." "Where are you now?"
Cathy asked.
"I'm in my dorm room."
Jacob answered. Cathy was silent for a few seconds before she suddenly asked,
"Do you want to go for a walk? The moonlight is pretty right now."
Jacob got butterflies in his stomach. He didn't expect an invitation like this. Cathy was a popular girl. Not only every guy in his class liked her, but so did so many others in their college. If Sam and his other friends didn't go behind Jacob's back and blab about his feelings to Cathy on his behalf, the relationship between them wouldn't be so awkward. Jacob struggled for a moment, but finally managed to turn her down.
"I have quite a bit of homework to do. Another time." If you have any homework questions, just ask me,"
said Cathy. After a moment of pause, she continued.
"No matter what, I'm your class president. I'm here for you." "Well, thank you for your concern."
Jacob couldn't think of anything else to say.
"No worries."
Cathy hung up the phone. Jacob put down his cell phone and felt a smile spread across his face.
"Who was it?"
Sam asked as soon as Jacob hung up the phone.
"No one."
Jacob continued to smile.
"You have been pretty mysterious lately. Not sure what you've been up to."
Sam punched Jacob lightly. Jacob took the punch from Sam, lost in his own thoughts.
"If someone sees me and Cathy taking a walk, I'm not sure how the teachers will react. Shouldn't Cathy be concerned about this?"
In the middle of the night, Jacob sneakily crawled down from his bunk bed when Sam and the others were asleep. He opened the door to his dorm and walked out to the balcony. The moonlight was bright. Jacob took out Elder Liam's card and looked at it for a while before putting it back in his pocket.
"Might as well give it a try."
Jacob steadied his stance, faced the night sky, and brought the cultivation technique to the front of his mind. The golden symbols emerged in Jacob's mind. Jacob tried to comprehend the meaning of the technique word by word. He finished the whole set one time, returned to his room sneakily, and found out that 2 hours were gone. Just like that. Jacob was surprised. He wasn't sure if it was a psychological effect or not, but soon after the practice, he felt the swelling on his arm go down. His arm felt good as new. He was relieved, but still in disbelief of his new world full of dragons.
"Whatever. I've done my part. Time to go to bed."
Jacob suppressed all the other thoughts and fell asleep at once. In the next few days, life became as dull as watching a patch of grass. All the attention that Jacob had attracted in the last week was gone. However, Cathy still seemed to have an interest in him. She kept glancing at him in class. Meanwhile, Jacob continued practicing his meditation every night after his roommates went to sleep. However, there weren't any developments or visible changes. His strength was back to normal, and Sam could once again defeat him in arm wrestling. Soon enough, it was Thursday. The most exciting day for all students studying mechatronics had arrived. Second-year students all had to take weak optical signal processing, but they didn't mind, because the teacher was a total bombshell.
Hurry up! Hurry up! We have to get the seats in the front row.
Rushing out of the advanced math class, Sam dragged Jacob and ran crazily towards another big room.
Save 2 seats for us!
Sam yelled out to one of his friends, but it was in vain. The first 15 rows were already occupied.
We're too slow.
Sam cried in a disappointed tone. He picked the center seats, dragged Jacob with him, and saved 2 seats for his other friends.
No, man, this is so far away.
The other 2 friends were equally dissatisfied when they saw the location of their seats.
These people skip classes to get those seats. What can I do?
Sam threw his hands in the air.
Didn't you claim that you would propose to her? You don't even have the guts to skip class.
Sam's friend mocked him.
You've anticipated her lecture for weeks. Why didn't you skip your class?
Sam chuckled back at him. Soon the classroom was full, and even Cathy, the class president, couldn't manage to get a front row seat. She had to sit far behind Jacob and his group.
You've been having quite a lot of eye contact with Cathy lately. Are you guys secretly dating?
Sam asked Jacob.
I've been with you all day. When do you think I have these secret dates?
Jacob rolled his eyes. The classroom was noisy. Other than Jacob's class, there were 4 other classes here as well. Everybody was talking, especially the guys. The bell rang, and a pretty-looking teacher walked in. She was dressed gracefully in a lovely dress. All the guys gasped.
She looks prettier than the picture on the back of her books.
Sam sighed dreamily. As the guys gasped, Jacob couldn't help but stand up a little to get a look at the new teacher. Indeed, the guest lecturer dazzled in her clothes that accentuated her figure. It wasn't difficult to guess why the classroom was packed with male students. Susan walked to the front of the dais. Her high heels clicked on the tile floor.
Today we are going to talk about the 3rd module. Everybody, open your textbook to page number 73.
Susan's soft tone traveled from the microphone in front of her to every corner of the classroom.
I'm in heaven.
Sam was drunk on her voice.
It would be so pleasant to have this kind of lecture every day. She's really pretty.
Jacob agreed. The engineering students knew that they were going to have her only for a few sessions, and they wanted to make the most out of it. In addition to her attractiveness, Susan's lectures were clear, organized, and easy to understand. Even the girls in the class had good reason to admire her. The 90-minute lecture sadly came to an end. Susan usually left the lecture hall promptly after the class, but she did something unusual today.
You, follow me to my office.
Susan pointed out in Sam's direction.
Me?
Sam couldn't believe his luck.
No, not you. The one to your right.
It was Jacob she wanted.